Life, in a lot of ways, is about the injection of knowledge and the removal of ignorance. Welcome to another episode of Self Employed Success Secrets, Monday edition, with me, your host, Marcus. On today's episode, we're going to talk about something very interesting that you'll probably have to deal with at some point in time. We're going to talk about how it's a slippery slope from the penthouse to the outhouse, okay? As you are on your self-employment, or as you have your self-employment venture, you're probably going to run into people, as I've said before, that where everything's going to be good. They're going to treat you like a prince or like a princess, or the red carpet's going to be rolled out for you. You're going to be treated like a savior for what they're doing, and out of nowhere, things can change. And I'll talk about why this happens, and also to stay tuned for the very end for a surprise. But it's very quick. It's like lightning how fast it can go from being in the penthouse to the outhouse, from the top of the top to the bottom of the bottom. So stay tuned. And the purpose of this video is to help you know what to do when you go from the penthouse to the outhouse, and to anticipate it, to always kind of be on your toes and know that things can change. Things can change on a dime, okay? And be ready for that each and every time, okay? So let me explain why this happens. This happens because 1/4 of people want to win, and 3/4 of people want the lifestyle. Now you're like, what does he mean by that? Okay, when people subscribe to your services, they're just wanting things to be as easy as possible. They will say, oh, we want to change, we want to grow, we want to be better. Remember, if your business is going to thrive, you got to change. You're going to have to get better and better and better. And that all sounds good. Many people are going to subscribe to that notion. They're going to be like, 2 thumbs up for that. But when at times they get nitty gritty, that we actually got to change, like, oh, we got to spend 2 hours a week more working on this, or we got to, spend some money or read some books. People are like, no, I don't like that. And then you're like, oh, wait, I thought you wanted to change. And they're like, no, we don't want to do that. And that's when you go from the penthouse to the outhouse. That's one way. You can go from the penthouse to the outhouse. Another way, so you can make a mistake. Usually it's about 3 mistakes. 3 mistakes will get people to change on you. And that's why I'm saying just be careful, because a lot of people are going to come off as if they're for you. A lot are for you, but you'll see that people change instantly. And they'll change out of nowhere. That's probably one of the harder things about being self-employed. People are unpredictable. They are a blessing. You're there to help them, but a lot of people are not saying what they mean to say. And so just what they mean. And so just come out and just anticipate that it's a slippery slope from the penthouse to the outhouse. And I speak from experience, okay? And your job, as I've learned, is that in where we live, the culture we live in, it teaches us that our job is to get people to like us. No, our job is to like people. You have to understand that there's gonna be times when people flip on you for whatever reason. It could be something that you did. It could be something that somebody else did. It could be that they're having a bad day. Just understand they can go from treating you like a king to treating you like a pauper in less than a day. And you have to anticipate this and keep yourself on your toes. Like, I've had situations, people brought me food. They'll pay you whenever you want, as much as you want, and then out of nowhere, they'll change on you. And it's because you're not being absolutely perfect, okay? And this is why you gotta understand that you do this too. When I do this too, when I give people the money, you're expecting them to be perfect. And then when they're not, you turn on them. I've turned on people on service before because they weren't perfect. And that may be something I need to look at, but it's like, just understand that you can go from the penthouse to the outhouse very quickly. And to just be aware of it when it happens, and it can come out of nowhere. And that, how do you fight this? You fight it by just being the best you can be every day, starting the slate, hitting the reset button every day before you come into work. What I did yesterday doesn't matter. You're only as good or as bad as your last action you took with your company. If you're a lawyer, you're only as good as the last email you sent to somebody. You're only as good as the last, if you're an author, you're only as good as the last book you submitted, and things like that. So just keep that in mind. Just fight that complacency. Okay, I've heard a football coach say, Kirby Smart at the University of Georgia, he said, they're the number 1 team in the country. He said, humility is only a week away, okay? That means one loss away from them being humble and coming down from their perch. So stay humble and keep working. Understand that things can flip very quickly. Same way in life, things can flip very quickly, good or bad. And just know that in life, there's always something around the corner, whether good or bad. And so just be ready for it. But going from the penthouse to the outhouse can be, it can be embarrassing. It can be confusing. You're like, oh, I thought everything was perfect. I had a situation where I was literally talking to someone and they're like, everything was perfect, everything was fine. Literally a week later, everything had flipped. and I wasn't even working there anymore. Like, oh my, like nothing literally changed. And it's just, that's how it is. Sometimes people are unpredictable and emotional. Okay, and that's why you want to be as rational as possible, understand and anticipate that these things are going to happen. Crises are going to happen in your business, and that can be one of them, going from the penthouse to the outhouse. Don't get used to the penthouse. Okay. Work as if you're in the outhouse trying to come out. I've had situations where I had to come out of the outhouse. You can do it by your performance, but the leash is very short when you're self-employed. So I just want to drive that home, that the thesis of today's speech, understand that you can go from the penthouse to the outhouse very quickly, and to avoid the outhouse, but don't get. So avoid the outhouse, but don't get used to the penthouse. So just, you gotta kind of stay in this mezzanine level of just, I'm ping ponging between back and forth, just trying to be excellent, trying to be as perfect as I possibly can, because they want perfection. And that's where the conflict starts, because they want perfection, and it's impossible to give that. I'll always strive for, I think it's better to strive for excellence than it is for perfection. Because perfection, I mean, you should strive for perfection, but it's never going to be attained. And so just excellence is your next best bet. And then I think the best is progress. Are you getting better? That's it. That should be the litmus test of, your ability and your need to stay in the organization. Is he getting better? Is she getting better? Because you're never going to get perfect. Okay, so hopefully you got something of value from this video. Just understand that. Remember, 1/4 of businesses actually want to win. 3/4 just want the lifestyle. They want things to be perfect and easy and fun and never change. And so that could be a reason why there's conflict, because people don't want to change. They want that what's the word? Homeostasis, where it's just you stay where you are. And so you can't. If you're going to be good, you got to change all the time. And so that's the hard thing. And then people can look at you as a scapegoat, because when you come in, they're going to be like, oh, you have this problem, but you have to change as a result. They're not going to be like, I don't want to change. And then that's when things happen. And you can go from the penthouse to the outhouse, lickety split in a superluminal way. And so, on to today's surprise. Today's surprise is make yourself useful, and the world will give you bread. Okay, make yourself useful, and the world will give you bread. If you can find a skill that others need, the world will give you money to sustain yourself and buy bread. Okay, but really learn today that it's a slippery slope from the penthouse to the outhouse. Don't get used to the penthouse, but also avoid the outhouse. Stay in that weird, uncomfortable place. You should be uncomfortable anyway. Stay in that uncomfortable place of always trying to get better and better and better, so you're never caught in either one of these places. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard being in between penthouse and outhouse. So you take some of the accoutrements of the penthouse, but you also understand that, and keep in your rearview mirror the sudden reality of don't be pretentious, meaning that you're anticipating being in that outhouse, but to understand that it's closer than you think it is. Okay, so stay in between the penthouse and the outhouse by being aware and being humble and always pushing the envelope on yourself. Okay, bye.